Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Grace and Grit. I'm Julie Berg, and I'm so happy that you're here. Today, we're going to talk about the top 10 traits of narcissistic behavior. These will help you better understand what it is that you might be dealing with. Now, this is not a way to diagnose somebody, but it can give you a pretty good idea if this person has something along the lines of this disorder. Again, you can't diagnose somebody just because they have a few of these traits. That needs to be done by a professional. But let's get started. Now, as we go through these traits, I want you to know that you're not alone in this. Dealing with a person with narcissistic personality disorder is it's challenging. Let's just put it that way. So I want you to know that you're not alone. Please go ahead and hit the like and the subscribe and the bell button. You'll be notified of any upcoming videos. Also, just drop a comment below. Let me know what you're dealing with. Ready? Okay, let's go. The first trait that I want to talk about is that of grandiose or self-importance. What you're going to find with a person with narcissistic personality disorder is often that they over-exaggerate their giftings, their abilities, how much money they make, how important they are. They also have an uncanny way of making you feel insignificant or unimportant, especially if you're the one that's in a relationship with them. It could be that of a boss, it could be that of a spouse or a significant other, could be a sibling or a parent. They tend to believe that they are more important than you or anyone else around them. The next topic, that of lack of empathy. You're going to find that with narcissists, they often display an extreme lack of empathy. They have very little care for other people, animals, different things like that. And they have no problem letting you know where you are on that chain. So if you find yourself in a relationship with somebody like this, you'll often feel brutalized emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, and they don't feel bad about it. That's a hard issue to deal with. The next one is the need for admiration. So if you're not constantly stroking their ego, letting them know, oh, you're so important, oh, you did such a great job, they tend to decline. And sometimes when they decline, they can get into fits of rage, self-harm. But just remember that most of the time when they're doing these things, it's so they can reel you in and make you say, oh, you're so wonderful, you're so great, I can't believe I'm so lucky to have you in my life. So the feeling of making them feel more important is what they're after. And they will do just about whatever they need to in order to get you to act on that. All right, the next one I want to talk about is exploitive behavior. They will do basically whatever they need to do in order to get the upper hand. It doesn't matter if you're a coworker or a sibling or a spouse or a significant other. They will do what they need to do to exploit a situation so that they come out on top. There is very little, like I said, there's very little empathy involved with a narcissist. So you got to look out. When you start finding out that you have loopholes because they have made their way through, you'll feel like you've been exploited. Secrets that you may have shared with them suddenly are no longer secrets. You know, you feel like you're creating a intimacy with them. And then they will go around and take that and it will go out to others, and you'll feel just dumbfounded or maybe embarrassed or humiliated. Something that was said or done in secret and private tends to come out, and it's for their own gain. It's to make you look bad and them look good. The next one I really want to focus on is a sense of entitlement. Narcissists tend to believe that no matter what, everything is theirs. Okay, so let's give an example. You could be going to a restaurant with a narcissist and they will demand the best table, or they will act as though their server was not that wonderful. They'll, speak down to them, treat them as though they're less than they are. They believe that they deserve the biggest discounts, the biggest raises. They believe that you should be bowing down and kissing their feet, basically is what it is. So you will see a sense of entitlement. Well, I should be getting that discount. Well, I should be the one that gets that raise. I should be the one that gets that new position. I should be the one that's owning that house. That person has no right owning that house. I don't care that they make more money than me. In fact, they don't make more money than me. You'll find they manipulate situations a lot because they want to let you know and everyone around you know that they have the upper hand, that they are the most important. And that's just what they believe, so you just have to understand that entitlement attitude that they've got going on, that's probably not something that's going to go away very easily. The next one I want to talk about is envy, and it goes right along with entitlement. Now, we all end up at times in our life wishing that we had something. Even the Bible talks about don't covet your neighbor's spouse. Don't covet this, don't covet that. A narcissist, though, takes it to a whole different level. You will see a narcissist believing that, somebody else doesn't deserve the break. Say the neighbor got a brand new car and it's a nice one. It's a BMW convertible. They will envy that and they will let you know that, well, that person just doesn't deserve it. Why they shouldn't have that. That's ridiculous. I work harder than they do. And you will see it in just about every aspect of their life. Again, these traits carry over quite a bit and they kind of interlock with other traits that I'm talking about. So you'll see a pattern going on here. I also want you to know that the narcissist will feed off of your reaction to any of these items. So if you are not feeding into it, if you don't agree with them, if you don't say, oh, honey, you should have gotten this, you deserve this, we should just go look. If you're not feeding into their psychopathy, you're not doing what they need. And your source of supply is going to be like dwindling big time. And they'll let you know about it too. Okay, let's talk about victim mentality. Now, there are times when we all feel shorted or jilted or like, well, I didn't deserve that. But a narcissist will take it to another level. When they feel like they should have gotten something, they will let you know, they will let everyone else know, and it will be a constant reminder. I know one person who did not get a promotion that he thought he should have gotten. And at every meeting, he would let them know in this staff meeting that, I should have gotten that position. I can do a better job. I have no idea. You signed up for it with this guy. It's your own problem. But in fact, they're usually a very inept employee. You can take that into personal life too. The victim mentality, well, I should have gotten that. Somebody dies and there's an inheritance that goes out. If one person, let's say the narcissist wanted the house, they will go on for years and years and years how they should have gotten that house and the other sibling or whatever should not have gotten that house. You will hear about that victimhood scenario that happened. I deserved that. I did all the work in this family. Why in the world did they get the house? That's not fair. I didn't deserve like this little trinket box. I deserve the house. That sort of thing. So you have to understand that when a person is a narcissist, they believe that if they are shorted in any way, they're going to let you know, and they're going to let you know over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, so the next one is, it's kind of part of the cycle. With a narcissist, they will idolize someone and then they will devalue someone. So it's kind of like a big roller coaster ride where you're going up and up and up and up and up and, oh, you're just so good, you're so wonderful, you're beautiful, you're handsome, whatever the case may be. You are so smart. I am so lucky to have you. And they just put you on this pedestal. And then what happens with the roller coaster? Every single time, it goes down. So you're completely devalued, and you're like, what just happened here? You were just treating me like I was just the best thing since sliced bread, and suddenly I am like the pig eating slop in the farmyard. I'm no good anymore. So you have. Okay, I also want to talk about a trait for the arrogant attitude. Sometimes we think of narcissists as being like, gosh, I'm so beautiful, I'm so handsome, look at my muscles, that sort of thing. And a lot of times they are, but you're also going to end up with narcissists who just have a really arrogant attitude. They believe that no matter what, they are top-notch. They are the best construction worker. They are the best banker. They are the best at baseball. They are the best at cooking. They have the best acting skills. They have the best bottom line, and everybody should, be like bowing to them and letting them know, oh, you are just so wonderful. Look, you're so handsome. Look how beautiful you are. You're so smart. Gosh, they love that. They love what you're feeding them is what it ends up being. And so they participate. It's kind of like a vampire attitude. So they live off of your reactions, like your lifeblood. So that's just something you have to be aware of. The narcissist can be arrogant, but it doesn't mean that it's always about looks. It can be about something else as well. So, okay, and the last one is they have a need for control. They need to be in control of everything. You really don't have a whole lot to say. I can give you 2 examples right off the top of my head. I was recently at a funeral. A friend's mother had passed away, and my boss, who was used to being in charge of everything, got up and started to direct traffic. Well, this wasn't even a relative of hers, and she was just telling people what to do at this, at the meal for the funeral. And I'm like, what in the world? This isn't even your family. You know them well, I get that. But you are taking over control of a situation that you have no right taking over. And she just expected everybody to follow her. Another control one, I'll just give you one from my personal relationship. And this is something that happened a long time ago. But I would say, you know what? I would really like to be able to pick where we're going to go out to eat, because a lot of times, half the time he would pay, half the time I would pay. And it would just be nice if we could have, go to a place that I want to go to. Can we have some Italian food tonight? We could, go to some Italian bistro or whatever. Just some food that I was having a hankering for. And so, yeah, sure, we can do that, or we could just, we could go to, my favorite pizza place, or we could go to, the burger restaurant down the road. We could go do that. I'm like, you just asked me where I wanted to go, and you've told me over and over that, hey, you never tell me where you want to go. Well, I just did, so I want to go to the Italian place, over here. There would be a problem and a fight with it. They need to control everything. They need to feel like they have the last word. And if they don't, there will be an argument. There will be a complete discussion. All right, well, that's all I have for you today. Those are 10 traits of the narcissist that you can look out for. Again, you can't diagnose a person with these things because they can have some of these things and still not be a narcissist, but this will give you a pretty good idea of what you're dealing with. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, I'd love you to leave it in the comment section below. I try to respond to everybody, and I'm just so grateful that you were here and able to join me today. So I hope you come back. I hope that you decide that this is a community that you can heal in. Again, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the subscribe, the like, and the bell button so that you're notified of future episodes that are coming up. Join us next time. God bless. Take care. See you later.